and welcome to We Promise Nothing, where we discuss anything and everything in the world of games. I'm the Syndrome, and with me today are Take a Chance
Hey,
and Mr.
that's right.
Stump.
I'm still not giving you anything. Come up with a damn intro.
I'm making fun of what Chance says.
That's not
That's
making
not
fun of what
original at
Chance
all.
says.
Did you say it?
Is it
No,
is
then
that
it's
supposed to be
original.
ironic? Because otherwise this doesn't
No,
work.
that's supposed to be words.
Okay, from now
Words that
on,
came out of my mouth.
Stump is going before me. That's how we're going to fix this.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well,
P.S. Still gonna make fun of you.
from the future, yeah. And this is the second part of our E3 special, and in this one we're going to be talking about Nintendo's presentation. So, Stump, do you want to kick us off on that?
Sure. Okay. Well, Nintendo had a good showing this year. The 3DS was shown, and apparently actually works, which is amazing. Without 3D without glasses, and nobody's eyes bled, so it's already up on the Virtual Boy. Then Nintendo basically masturbated the entire crowd by announcing a new Zelda game that looks kind of like Wind Waker. Then you got a new Donkey Kong game. You got a new Professor Layton game. Got a new Kid Icarus game. Got a fucking Kingdom Hearts game. Uh,
Basically, every other
blah, blah,
Nintendo
blah.
game you've ever heard of
Kirby.
has come out again.
Yeah, Kirby's Epic Yarn game. Everything except Pikmin. Ha!
Which is ironically what they announced last year
Yeah.
and still didn't show anything of.
Yep, games and games and games and games, all kinds of things, and
So
actually Epic Mickey, which is a new title, which I think is super duper.
basically, the opposite of Microsoft's conference. All
Yeah, very
games,
little
but
hardware or games.
Yeah.
So
Now,
let's.
I'd say the most impressive thing would be the 3DS, and we won't know how it works when until it gets like into the masses' hands for any kind of reasonable time, more than like 10 minutes in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
yeah,
But so far, the word is that it actually shows you 3D without wearing glasses, and like that alone, even though I think 3D is kind of like the herder gimmick of the year, it's still pretty impressive they can do that without glasses.
I liked the look of the 3DS. It looked really strong. The graphics are greatly improved over the DS. They're saying it may have uh, GameCube or even pushing Wii style of graphics, which I know isn't that much more than a GameCube, but it looks very impressive. I like the 3D slider, so if you're really really sick of the 3D styles in games that don't require it, you can just zoom it out and you get regular gameplay.
Yep.
Uh, Widescreen, bigger screen. It looks really really good, and you're going to get all of the Nintendo portables, which is always a great lineup. So yeah, it looks all right.
I think what surprised me the most about the 3DS is some of the games that were announced by other publishers. I mean, we got things like an Assassin's Creed game is coming to it. There's a new Metal Gear Solid game, which I hear is either going to be a remake or a direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3. There's going to be a Resident Evil game. There's going to be Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, Super Street Fighter, The Sims. The list goes on and on and on. And I think that's kind of amazing. Everyone seems to be jumping on this bandwagon. And can you blame them? I mean, the DS sells like hotcakes, and all the games on it, once again, they sell incredibly well as well. It's just
Hmm.
it's a money machine, but it surprised me the kind of titles that were being put on it.
I think developers are jumping all over the 3D. I mean, this is the first console to say we're going full 3D support. You chuck a game on this, we could run it in 3D. And who doesn't want to play a Zelda or a Metal Gear Solid or an Assassin's Creed in 3D? I mean, if it works, it works. And it's something that hasn't been done before, so it's going to sell. There's no way it's not going to sell.
I think the best part is you don't have to buy anything additional. I mean, Sony have already announced that they're doing 3D. We'll talk about that later, but you'll need to buy a 3D TV and you'll need to have the goggles. With this, all you need is a 3DS, and you're looking in 3D straight away. No need to spend hundreds of dollars on anything else. I think that's the best part about it, to be completely honest.
I like, well, I shouldn't say I like this, but they have the movie deals, which if it goes the way of the PSP, won't mean crap. I'm very interested to see how they distribute these movies because no one's going to buy a Nintendo DS movie on a cartridge. So
UMDs.
yeah,
Oh,
it'll
God.
be interesting to see how they go with that.
Even so, I wouldn't really buy tiny movies ever.
No,
Oh,
and
never.
Like if that's the only format they come in. But the built-in SD card slot for the 3DS is pretty sweet.
yep.
I agree. Yeah. I think the one thing that's interesting me the most, how are they actually doing the 3D? The technology behind it. I understand how modern 3D works with refresh rates and doubling the image, things like that. That's how we're getting modern 3D, higher refresh rates. This is a little bit of technical information for our listeners. Most monitors will run at about 60 hertz, and the same can be said for TVs. But modern 3D requires 120 hertz viewing, either a TV or a monitor, because it doubles the image, like the quality of the image. So how are Nintendo doing this? Like, will full motion actually work with the 3DS? Because apparently it was all still images at the press conference.
I don't.
Yes, I actually heard about this. It's fucking miracles.
How do they work?
It's
Yeah,
it,
it's kind of like magnets.
I don't know the technical side of it. Like I'm not extremely versed in this, but it's basically multiple cameras. That's how they're portraying the 3D. It's it's definitely different. It's not new. They have it in Japanese cell phones, and it's worked out quite well. So that is why it's being mass marketed in the 3DS. Because for one, it's affordable now, and they know it works. I just have no idea how.
Well,
Miracle.
this is it is miracles, and we're being really informative to our listeners here. So I guess we better move on before we all seem like complete morons. So let's talk
Hey,
about some of the
Wikipedia
games
The
because
games.
All right.
the
Which of the
games.
many remakes of already established franchises would you like to talk about?
Let's talk about the one they sort of started on, Zelda, the new Zelda game, Skyward Sword.
Waggle waggle.
Um, waggle, 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 indeed. Uh, if you were watching the press conference closely, you'll notice that the one-to-one motion that Miyamoto was trying didn't work out too well.
Oh, not that well. It's almost as if Wii waggling is a really shitty way to try to control a video game. I don't know if anybody's said this kind of thing before, but maybe we're breaking this story. But yeah, waggle sucks apparently.
They could not have been pleased by the way that went in regards
You
to
heard it?
showcasing the game. That was just
Yeah, I'm sure they're
torture.
crying into their piles and piles of money right now.
Watching Miyamoto flail around with a Wiimote, proclaiming that it has true one-to-one motion, was just ridiculous.
Yeah, as Miyamoto retired to his hotel made of money to sleep with
However,
his money wife.
there have been reports from the hands-on booth that said the game plays much better than it looked whenever he was playing it. So let's hope. That's all. You just gotta hope that it's
Yeah,
good.
you can only hope.
Yeah. Other than Zelda, actually no, let's stay on Zelda for a second. The graphics, the look of it, it's like a blend. It's weird. It's got some cel shaded stuff like Wind Waker, but yet it's the Link from Twilight Princess. And frankly, it looks very, very Wind Wakery. I don't know if it's going to work because it doesn't seem very dark. Like just coming from Twilight Princess, it seems very, very kiddish because you came from a very dark and ominous atmosphere to this bright, friendly, cel-shaded, Wind Waker type atmosphere again, and it just doesn't seem like the adult Link would fit there. So it was an interesting choice.
Is it a step in the right direction, though? Do you think Nintendo was going a bit too dark with Twilight Princess? I mean, people have argued that the game looks too dark. Like Nintendo said, okay, this is what all the kids are into nowadays. They all want deep, dark protagonists, so let's give them one. I mean, is it a step in the right direction, or do you think they should have stayed with this? I mean, personally, I think Twilight Princess looked better. I think it had a lot more feeling to it. It was a world that you could get sucked into. When you're playing something that looks like Wind Waker or like Skyward Sword, you're very aware that you're playing a game. Like you're very aware of how cartoony it is.
I'm not a particular